Welcome back. Today I will be discussing why you should not be jealous of the new supply. This video was created just to remind you about the literal and entire hell you went through with the narcissist or toxic individual and why you should not be jealous of the new relationship. When the narcissist is done with that person, if that person chooses to stay for long, their brain will be fried and their emotions will be raw. And they most likely will be barely escaping. We have to think critically here and ask ourselves, do we miss the narcissist or do we miss the mask? Because there is a clear difference. Do we miss the narcissist or do we miss the illusion? The reality is that we miss most of the time the mask. We miss the illusion. Many of us would rather stay as long as they keep that mask on. We would stay if they kept the mask on because what is underneath is too scary. It's too jolting. But what's underneath is who we were truly with. The narcissist looks safe from a distance, but once you are close to them long enough, you will feel the sting of their presence. You see, an already safe person looks safe from afar. When they get close, their safety is confirmed. A narcissist usually looks safe from afar. However, when they get close, you will eventually feel the sting. Their presence always stings. So let's break down why you should not be jealous, and hopefully this will give you insight and change your perspective. We have to look at this disorder and them with their new supply from an aerial view. For instance, if you go outside, you only see what's in front of you, what's in back of you, side to side, up and down. In other words, the scope of your view is very limited. Now, let's look at a bird. When a bird is operating from an aerial view, this bird can see down the block and around the corner. Why is that? Well, mainly because he is higher up. He essentially has a greater perspective. He can see what is coming before we do. This is what it means to have an aerial view when looking at your ex-narcissist with their new person. Because many of us have been through relationships with toxic individuals, we now have a greater perspective. In other words, you have perspective that the new supply does not. You know what's coming and what this individual is capable of. Some of you were that new supply and you thought the old supply was bluffing and just jealous when they were trying to warn you. That individual just had an aerial view or a higher perspective. So when you see your ex with their new supply in this new relationship, I know it can be difficult not to get jealous. But this is where building your emotional intelligence comes in. As a registered clinical social worker, I can tell you that building your emotional intelligence is huge in your recovery. So acknowledge those jealous feelings. Feel it in your body. If I were you, I would even pray inside and let God know how you're feeling. Remember, His strength works best in our weakness or in our most vulnerable state. After you do this, balance those emotions with logic by remembering you now have an aerial view of what is to come. You know the abuse that is about to begin. I would even pray for the new source because I wouldn't wish that type of abuse on anyone. You guys know because many of you barely made it out alive. And comment down below if you know what I mean. Being in an overly emotional state causes us to react in inappropriate and irrational ways. But despite your big emotions, by bringing rational and logical truths, you balance your mind and you position yourself to act from a place of power. The Bible says that a wise man is strong and a man of knowledge increases in power. That's Proverbs 24:5. When you were in a relationship with that toxic person, they had power over you because they had knowledge of you and could predict your moves. Now that you know them, continue to operate from an aerial view and move in silence. You now have the power because you now have the knowledge of who you are dealing with. This gives you power, and by moving in silence and operating from an aerial view, you appropriate your power. So instead of being jealous, just remember. Remember what you know. Remember the cycle of abuse you were put through. Also, remember the chaotic relationships that were before you. Remember that this individual does not have the essentials for healthy attachment. My opinion, do not warn the new supply. Stay out of it. If you don't stay out of it, the attention will be off of the narcissist and their bad behavior and onto you. The quicker you stay out, the quicker this person can see this narcissist for who they truly are. You focus on your life and your healing. You move on, and you move on well. This is all I have for you guys today. Remember to love and accept yourselves. You matter. Until next time.